Hey, no typing.
Was that you?
No, that was me.
Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review, number 283, I think. I'm losing track of them at this stage of the game, but this is this week's elite panel of the NoDQ Review. Of course, Aaron Rift is here. The reliable one, Walter Cruz, is back, and making his return is Colin the Cleaver Andrew. Gentlemen, what's going on? Colin, I will start with you, and I hope everybody can hear me okay, because I'm using my phone tonight. What's up, Colin?
Oh, dude, not a whole lot. It's been a long time since I've been here, so we got business to tend to. Things are good. Life is good. Pro wrestling is good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, we were going to have 5 tonight, but someone couldn't make it because they don't know how to read directions and tell time. Excuse after excuse. So, like they say in baseball, even if it's 3 feet outside these days, strike 3, you're out. I won't mention any names. But Colin, stay tuned. I'll be back to you shortly. Walter, what's up?
Not that much. Yeah, good to see and be seen. And yeah, somebody's the complete opposite of my nickname. That's all I'm saying.
Ready to get the show on the road?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, well, I'll be back to you shortly. Aaron, what's going on?
Doing pretty good. Looking forward to this upcoming trip to Ohio. Get to see everybody again. It'll be fun for that occasion. And now we got some wrestling to talk about. We had some releases last week. Unfortunately, things happen and cuts get made, so we'll be talking about that. We had the AEW pay-per-view, and I'm curious if the chat room can figure out who did not show up tonight, but we're not going to mention that person's name. Let's just say he's missed more than one show, and that doesn't work for us, brother. So anyways, Virtue, I'm ready to go. Let's get this party started.
All right, let's just, I don't know what to pick here first. So let's just talk about the WWE releases recently. It usually happens after WrestleMania. I can't say any of them were notable or significant to me. A lot of NXT people, Jinder Mahal. Some of them did make the main roster, but, I still thought of them as NXT people. Grimes, Veer, Xia Li, all gone, and some others. Anytime there's releases, Aaron usually gets a little spike in traffic. I don't know if this one's going to be that way. I mean, don't hinder Jinder, but whatever. I mean, he was always a Vince McMahon guy, right? It seemed like Vince kind of always liked him. Triple H, maybe not so much, and he can go do some other things. So what does everybody think, Colin, on these releases? Anybody notable to you other than Jinder Mahal?
Honestly, Cameron Grimes. I've always been a fan of him. Like ever since he was Trevor Lee back in TNA, I was really stoked when he signed with WWE. And if you know anything about me, I'm a big NXT guy, or was a big old school NXT guy. It's starting to get a little better, but yeah. So that was like the big one. Jinder threw me for a little bit just because he was involved with that heavyweight title match not that long ago and the whole Rock segment and stuff. But his 2 cronies, no surprise there. Let's see, Xia Li, she's really never been anything huge, even when she debuted in NXT and then coming up to the main roster. Still nothing there. And then Zion Quinn, again, he's just another NXT 2.0 flop. So, I mean, it sucks that they all lost their jobs. When I saw that Von Wagner had been released as well today. Um, again, not a big surprise there, but a little bit because back in December when Raw was at the Gund Arena, the Q Rocket Mortgage Field House, whatever you want to call it, in Cleveland, he was on an episode of Main Event, and the crowd actually had a decent response for him. So I'm a little confused on that point. He's a big guy. He can actually work pretty decent. Just got to keep him off a microphone. Um, but besides that, I mean, it's not a whole lot. Um, Best wishes to everybody. Hopefully they all land on their feet, but especially to Trevor Lee, aka Cameron Grimes.
And like I said, in the past, it's been more notable than this time. I mean, I'm sure a few people turn their heads with Jinder Mahal, but it is what it is. Any thoughts, Walter?
Yeah, if you believe the rumors, Mahal hindered himself. He quit. So like he hindered himself there. But like Xia Li, nothing was really stood out about her except her like ripping off Katana from Mortal Kombat with some of her outfits. Cameron is the one that shocked me. And it like I kind of expected it, but then when I saw his Twitter video and how emotional he got, it like hurt. I was like, man, that sucks, because it's like the whole thing where he said about his father and how all he ever wanted to do was be in the WWE. So maybe he can go like Drew and Jinder did before, get released, make it a bigger name for himself back on the Indies where he could get noticed, and then come back, and maybe he, instead of I got kids over there that come back, he can be the one to come back and become eventual champ or something. If Jinder and Drew can do it, anybody can do it. But one I'm shocked at, maybe because they legally can't because of legal issues. I'm surprised Drew Gulak hasn't been released. That's the one I'm like, how is he still with the whole Ronda thing going?
Hey, this is why I'm the moderator.
Mm-hmm.
You're surprised because they don't use him, or because he allegedly touched Ronda Rousey's string on her pants like he's a pervert, like doing it in front of other people. I mean, come on.
I'm surprised they don't use him. I would use him after that story. Now his name is on the news.
I didn't know why you thought you were surprised. Like, because to me, right, you're innocent until you're proven guilty, and I just hate anything like that. And when people run with it,
but when somebody's name is in the news like that, I would start putting them on TV. like it's a screw you. Your name is already getting popular. Why not use it? Like Jinder, right? The whole thing with Tony going after him, and then they started putting them in these main event things even more because people were talking junk about it. And now, like, it's gonna be funny that is Tony Khan gonna be on Mahal's phone after all that junk he talked about him? It's gonna be real interesting to see. But if I was TK, just leave these people release, let them be on the indies. You signing up, and your company is leave it alone. You don't need to sign every released talent.
Good old Ronda Ryback. All right. Well, like I said, to me, Jinder Mahal, he was always an old school type gimmick that in this day and age, granted, Gunther working well, being like a foreigner, but they more showcase his wrestling ability, and not that he's like, got Nazi descendants or anything weird like that. Like the old school wrestling used to be to try to draw heat. So, Jinder was always in good shape, and that whole stuff he did with The Rock and Rollins, it was good work, but it's unfortunate. I could care less about anybody else. I hope he finds some work somewhere. It doesn't matter, even if it's TNA, anywhere, because I think he's a pretty good, solid dude and veteran. And other than that, the other people, I mean, Tony Khan's always hiring. Aaron, what do you think here? In the past, any releases, your site traffic gets a nice little spike. I don't know if it did it for this, really.
Did you have anything to add, Walter?
I was just curious, how old is Veer? Because at least he had baseball to fall back on. But if he's already kind of up there in age, he can't go back to it.
I don't know what happened with him in baseball, to be honest with you. I don't think he was that very good.
Anyways, regarding the releases, it's an interesting time because WWE doesn't publicize the releases, and now it seems like it's not coming out like it was in the past. And even now, we have people that are issuing statements about their release, and it's not even being broken by a wrestling reporter. It's when a statement comes out that we find out about the release. So it's definitely changed from a few years ago.
Good. I like it that way. I don't think wrestling reporters need to get that news. So I like this.
Right. I'm not really surprised about any of the releases. I figured that if you're not on TV, you're not being utilized, there's a good chance you're gonna be on the chopping block. Cameron Grimes, not really surprising to me. I feel like he never got a really good shot on the main roster. He had a solid run in NXT, and if there is any surprise to him being cut, it's the fact that it seemed like Triple H and Shawn Michaels were very high on him, but he did nothing really on the main roster. And his last several matches, he was just enhancement talent. So it may just be a matter of they thought that he's been booked as enhancement for so long that he would be better off going off on his own and maybe trying to make a name for himself and come back in a couple of years. He seemed very emotional about it, and I hope he does well. Like I think at the very least, TNA will pick him up, and maybe AEW will give him a shot. And I think he'll be back in WWE. He seems like a guy who's very motivated and loves WWE, and it's just not the best time for him right now. They're bringing in new people. You know, you got Braun Breaker, you got Ilya Dragunov, you got Carmelo Hayes. People are going to get lost in the shuffle. And unfortunately for Cameron Grimes, he just kind of got stuck as enhancement talent. Maybe he makes a name for himself on the indie scene and comes back when WWE can use a few new guys. As far as the others go, Jinder Mahal, again, they weren't really doing anything with him, so I'm not surprised in that sense. I guess I am a little surprised because I figured they would always keep him around if they're trying to truly be international and have an Indian superstar. But maybe that's not their focus right now. So who knows? And the others, again, no real surprises. They weren't being used. It sucks when people lose their jobs, but there's plenty of opportunities for them, and you never know. And I don't think Tony Khan is going to necessarily pick up any of these people because he hasn't picked up Dolph Ziggler. And he's already got a bloated roster as it is. So we'll see what the others can do. And Mr. Anderson sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. He says, here's a super chat to Veer not coming anymore. Now that's supposed to be Psycho Jet Black's gimmick where he makes those kind of jokes. But thank you, Mr. Anderson. Appreciate the super chat. And best of luck to everybody that was cut. And maybe they'll get another opportunity down the line in WWE.
Hey, Vince McMahon's going to have a couple $2 billion, and maybe one day he's going to try another wrestling promotion. So 80 years old, oldest wrestling promoter ever. Come back.
Never say never, right? You never know.
All right, we good?
Yep.
Next topic. And this is why putting the title on Cody and not having a plan, like they have a long-term plan and we got to wait for it. Because Rock's filming movies, Roman's off filming movies, doing whatever. They'll come back. We'll see him again. But in the meantime, Cody's got to be a defending champion, and we're going to get a bunch of filler title matches that we know he'll never lose his title to. And with all due respect to AJ Styles, who is great, who fits this role good, I'm like Backlash is going to be in France, right? Overseas, and it's on my wedding day. I don't care about any of these filler matches, and I don't know if I'll even watch the replay. It's the summer of filler, and it's a problem. And you can make things compelling. You can make things personal, even if you put the right person against Cody and you put an angle in place. You know, I mean, kind of look how they did with LA Knight and AJ Styles. They kind of made it a little personal. If you at least did that, we all know Cody's going to keep the title, but now you're going to want to see Cody kick somebody's ass. And I hope they do that with AJ, but man, this is going to suck. These title defenses are going to be blah to me. I mean, even think with Jimmy Uso, or not Jimmy, but Jay getting a match against Damian Priest. Like, are they going to have Jay beat Damian Priest that quick? Doubtful. This is why I hate so many pay-per-views in WWE. What does everybody think here about the summer of filler, specifically Cody and AJ? Walter, I'll start with you this time.
Yeah, it is going to suck. It is going to be the summer of filler because, you know, the Raw title is all we're waiting on is for the return of CM Punk. And then the SmackDown title, all we're waiting for is for Rock to finish filming and get to that the whole nitty gritty of what the bloodline is. So it is going to be filler. But just because we know the results of something, we could probably still make it, like you said, make it compelling. So they got to make some kind of story. Cody can still flirt with this new bloodline, like even though he hasn't won anything in 2024, which is ironic. But you could use Solo as the next contender after AJ, because we know AJ ain't winning. And yes, it's another filler, but at least there's history in that one, and you can make it personal, like you just said. So and then, I mean, you're not gonna give Tonga a title shot though. But yeah, it's like I can't even think after Solo who else they're gonna use. So it is we've been through the summer of Punk, we've been through all these summers, and now you're absolutely hit the nail on the head. We're gonna do the summer of filler, but I mean, at least if you make it believable enough with the story, we deep down know Cody's not gonna lose it. But somebody's got to be close to be like, I don't know, maybe they can do something, even though deep down we know it's not gonna happen. But I think the draft will make it a little more clear, like who's going to start going where, and then we can see what's going to lead to what. But it's going to be a tough summer to go through. That's what sucks about injuries, because you don't have Punk, you don't have, and Brock has to go away, and then Roman went away. Well, he's not injured, but he went away. So we have to deal with what we got to deal with. There's always some slow quarter in wrestling. We got to deal with it right now.
Gone, and we'll talk about Becky Lynch in a little bit, but
yeah,
sure they're gonna slowly start building Gunther up into the main event level. Why wait? Why not have? I mean, I know it's Jay and Damian Priest. Why not start getting that going now? Because he had that long streak as the Intercontinental Champion. Do it now while all these other people are out, and you need to push a guy, even if it's a heel. But I hate how they slow roll during the slow times. This happens late in the year every year. Like December always sucks.
Yeah, it does. But maybe Gunther's time is coming with the King of the Ring, so we'll see.
Yeah, but again, slow. Let's have him build that, then title shot. I mean, being Intercontinental Champion for 666 days doesn't automatically make you a number one contender. Like that. That's just it's stupid. Anything else you want to add, Walter?
Yeah, no, that's it. But I get what you mean. Like, as a reward for having such a long title, he should be first in line to get the world title. So, yeah.
We got to wait for Roman. Punk, who will be sooner than them, be back.
Yeah.
We got to wait for them. Let's really get behind. Like, AJ's a veteran. Nothing wrong with that. Jay's, that's kind of cool, but, like, how is that really going to play out? I just want to see new stars. Like, they've dicked around with LA Knight. And, again, he can't even get back there. AJ beats him. And then Gunther, like I don't know. I'm not saying it's like Vince McMahon type stuff where, but Triple H, you want this new era, man. I don't know. Intrigue me. What do you think?
I'll tell you what. With Jay, I'll say one last thing. With Jay, after Priest beats him, you better do the damage, the Judgment Day breakup quick and make Finn Balor the next contender. That's going to make that'll intrigue us a little. Like, now Priest is the face, because he already teased that he don't need you. He said something like, I don't need you guys, you need me, or something. He yelled to Dom and them. So maybe do the Judgment Day breakup and then make Balor the number one contender. That'll be some intriguement.
But meanwhile, we're just going to see Cody get these wins against these big names, and what a great championship run by Cody Rhodes, because he beat AJ Styles in France. AJ travels all over the world putting on great matches. Oh, wait, that sounds like AEW stuff. All right, Colin, what is your take here on the summer of filler, at least regarding the main event, in my opinion?
So even coming out of WrestleMania and Cody winning the belt, the bigger story to me is this new bloodline. So I don't know what is planned. AJ is obviously gonna take the L here, because we still have many more months until SummerSlam, and I have no idea who they're going to go with SummerSlam. I mean, the right person to me would be Gunther, but I guess that's where we'll see. But like, I don't know. Again, like I said, the bigger story here is the new bloodline. Who's running that? If Cody ends up on SmackDown, which obviously is the way they're going, it's clear where it's going to head to. Are we going to get Rock and Cody at SummerSlam? Is The Rock going to be finished filming Popeye by then? That I guess something we could see play out. But I liked Walter's idea of Solo stepping up. Um, but yeah, it's an awkward time right now, and it sucks because we just got out of WrestleMania season and we should be booming. And I feel again, your new champion is not the key story of your company.
Yep. Okay, Aaron, anything that you would like to add to this?
Sure. I think the main issue with Cody Rhodes is that WWE did not build up a ready-made opponent for him after WrestleMania. They should have planted the seeds for somebody or had a challenger ready to go. AJ Styles just feels very random, and we do have the draft coming up, so at the very least, Backlash is a filler pay-per-view. It's a lame duck pay-per-view because we got the draft coming up and people are going to switch to different brands. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles, it's predictable. AJ's going to lose. Same thing with the world title match. I don't see Damian Priest losing until Clash at the Castle. Drew McIntyre will probably win the title then. So yeah, Backlash right now, I'm sure the matches will be good, but it very much feels like a filler show. And it's fine. You got to give them a win or two. And we do have the Bloodline story to be invested in. And I have been enjoying Raw and SmackDown. The pay-per-view, I could take it or leave it. And Virtue, I will say this. I'm glad that on paper, this pay-per-view isn't all that great. So, you know, I'm not going to be able to watch it live. This will be the first
that day because it's in France.
It's going to start at 1 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday.
So my ceremony is like at 2:30. It's like mid-afternoon, but those are less than an hour usually. And then there's going to be some. So you might be able to catch a little bit of on your phone while you're waiting for the reception.
Yeah, I am going to try to watch some of it when I have some downtime that day. But yeah, I'm not complaining that it's a weak card just because I'm not going to be able to like fully devote all my time to covering the event on NoDQ. And shout out to Jeff Meacham, who's going to fill in with the recap that day. I appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you for that. Check out his content over on the Jeff Meacham Network. And we do have a super chat here from the Real Wyatt. Said, so Cody defending the title every month is bad? Shaking my head. Not that. I think the point that was being made was that we should have had like a ready-made opponent for Cody. So you're ready to see Cody put the title on the line after WrestleMania. The match with AJ just feels very thrown together without any real build-up behind it.
Boring. Hey, real Mark Wyatt. It's bad and boring because you know Cody ain't going to lose it. Oh, but let's rack up title defenses because Roman didn't defend it that much the last 4 years, which made it great. Made it feel like a prize that only the elite of the elite could get a crack at. Wrestling, just because it's wrestling, you know it's fake, and you mark out by knowing the business and following dirt sheets, doesn't mean that they can wrestle every week defending the title and all of a sudden it's great. It makes it stupid. Boxing champions, UFC champions, they fight limited times during the year because those are real sports. Why not make wrestling feel more real, more prestigious? So the Roman run was great for that very reason, and that's why I'm shitting on this potential Cody summer of Cody, because I don't want to see these meaningless title defenses that I know he's going to win and keep it. Again, if you make it personal to where at least, hey, I want to see Cody beat this guy up now, kind of, you know, the Brock thing, like Cody and Brock. That was a pretty entertaining feud. I would love that right now in this situation for Cody to be defending his title. Oh, a year too late on it, though. That's what I'm talking about. God,
yeah, they could
translate everything to some of these people. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, Brock would have been interesting, but also I know they want to do Gunther versus Cody Rhodes at some point, and he's probably gonna win the King of the Ring if I'm gonna make a bold prediction. And they got the Bash at Berlin coming up, and that's when I think Gunther's going to go for the world title. And why isn't he going for the IC title? Well, I don't think they want to have Gunther lose to Sami Zayn again. So Gunther's just kind of moving on. He's got King of the Ring, but that's what, the end of August, early September, whenever that is. So yeah, they got to come up with some stuff between now and SummerSlam. The only thing I really wanted to just say was that I think that they should have been building up somebody really strong pre-WrestleMania. So when WrestleMania was over, somebody's right there ready for Cody and wanting to take the title, or, you know, set something up. But that's it. You know, I think the product will be good regardless. And I'm still looking forward to what's to come. But yeah, I'm waiting. Like we're all waiting for Roman Reigns to come back and for The Rock to come back and to get those really big matches. And yeah, we got to wait a while. Walter?
Yeah, to break it down simple for the people that don't get what Virtue is saying, it's like watching Hulk Hogan fight the Brooklyn Brawler. You already know what the hell is going to happen. Like,
I mean,
like,
AJ Styles and the Brooklyn Brawler are not the
It-
same people. So I mean,
know, but what I'm saying is that the expectation point part of it. And what the hell was the point of LA Knight going over AJ if AJ was going to get this first title match? You might as well have made AJ win at WrestleMania.
yeah. I mean, I get the heel versus face dynamic, but I almost would have been more interested in LA Knight versus Cody Rhodes for the title, just because LA Knight is or was red hot. You know, if they had kept his momentum going, and LA Knight beat AJ Styles, and he's not getting the title match because they had to do the rematch.
Exactly. You can make face versus face appealing. You just got to do it right.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me, I would have been building up LA Knight like crazy in February and March, having him pick up win after win on TV, and then set him up right after WrestleMania for Cody Rhodes. You know, people like LA Knight; he's a sentimental favorite, and I think that would have been more intriguing. But again, I think the match with Styles will be good. You know, it's just obvious that Cody's going to retain.
Like, I would almost rather see Cody not defend his title at Backlash. He would have teamed up with somebody versus the Bloodline, versus Solo and Tonga, just to enhance that, and then go have the new Bloodline beat him, beat the other guy that Cody tags with. I'd rather see that, slow building that eventual confrontation that we might get with Rock and Cody, than just to see a filler. You know, with all due respect to AJ Styles, I'd rather see him fight Logan Paul or something. I don't know. It's just whatever. It's what they chose to do. Aaron, are we caught up?
Yeah, we're wait. We do have a $2 super chat from your favorite, the Real Wyatt. He says Roman's reign was not going to last forever. Virtue.
Roman never had a reign. Wrestling is fake scripted entertainment. He carried a prop. He was so he never had a reign. Cody's currently not a real champion either. But you got to make it all mean something. Okay? That's the point. It's nothing about Roman losing the title. I wanted Roman to lose the title at SummerSlam last year. But no, Cody had to get in that feud with Brock.
It's challenging to come up with a good creative idea for the first title defense, because we all know Cody's not going to lose it right away. After all that, he's not going to lose the title in his first defense. So it's tricky, you know. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because it's not easy to come up with a really good creative idea to make it, well, maybe Cody will lose in his first title defense.
Maybe
Walter?
you should have waited till after the King of the Ring. That way, that person who won the King of the Ring actually earned the title shot, not just one rematch of AJ and LA Knight.
I want to point something out with that King of the Ring, though. Like, if you're going to make it seem like it means something again, they should not have, like, oh, Xavier Woods, I'm the last King of the Ring. Yeah, okay. To me, I'm like, this is a chump. Well, Gunther wins it all right now, but, like, it's a joke, right? And they should have never referenced that. I mean, yeah, fans know, but, like, to me, who is that the last King of the Ring, Xavier Woods?
Yeah.
So, like, to me, that doesn't make me any excited. Like, just have the event or whatever it's going to be, the tournament. If you want Gunther to win it, let him win it. Then let him brag about it, so we forget about all those crappy like Baron Corbin was a king, right?
So was Brock Lesnar, and he was not in that video.
Filler. When is this King of the Ring tournament? Is it part of like Raw, SmackDown?
May.
I don't. So it's on the regular TV shows.
They're gonna. I think they're doing, you know, the tournament on TV and then the finals at the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view, King and Queen of the Ring.
Perfect place.
You gotta do it all in one night. You gotta make it mean. You can't.
Yeah, I missed the one-night tournaments.
Yeah. All right, we ready?
Yeah, let's move on.
Since we did a last review, Rhea Ripley had to vacate her title for whatever reason, personal time off, injury. She can't pull a Seth Rollins, or people are like, Roman Reigns can go away for a couple months and not defend it. For whatever reason, they wanted to take the title off of her. I think it's more than a shoulder injury. In my opinion, she just needs some time away. But nonetheless, because of that, they did a battle royal, which let's throw everybody in together and just have a champion. And of course, Becky Lynch won it, which you can't go wrong with Becky, even if she's going to be a transition. But here's my problem, guys. Becky Lynch being the champion, great. I don't like, they wanted Rhea to go over at Mania. And maybe at that particular time, Rhea wasn't hurt or didn't need time off for other reasons. So putting her over Becky was the right thing to do there instead of having Becky beat her on the big stage, which Becky's done with people before. But like, if this is all for Liv to be champion, who Liv Morgan? Like, come on! I'm sorry, she should be that type of female wrestler that got her run, lost the title, and she doesn't need it anymore. She can do other stuff. I'm just not sold on Liv Morgan. I would rather see Alexa Bliss come back, to be honest with you. But Colin, Becky champion, great, but like, I ain't feeling Liv Morgan potentially winning it from her if that's what they're setting up while Rhea recovers and comes back. And that would make sense. Rhea comes back. If Liv has it, then I want my title back. But like, come on. Can't they be a little bit better than this? Maybe you like Liv Morgan. Again, nothing against her, but like, I'm not feeling the main events right now in WWE, man. Ugh.
So I was actually really shocked to see Becky win the belt because I figured that her and Seth were going to take some well-deserved time off together, especially that Seth just had that knee surgery and stuff. So I was real shocked to see her pick up the belt. Like, honestly, I would have gone like, I hate to say it, I would have gone like a Nia Jax route or something because um, Becky's the safety blanket, as someone put in the chat. Like, she's the favorite bedtime stuffy, like so. And she was just in the title match, yes, at WrestleMania. Um, it's unfortunate what happened with Rhea. But Liv Morgan, I'm not feeling it, especially now that Rhea's not here. Like, yeah, there's certain superstars that can keep the storyline alive. Like, you have Drew McIntyre doing his deal with CM Punk. Well, Liv Morgan is not on that level. So, and I don't know what else is for her to do right now, but I'm not feeling this either. Um, I went to bed last night before Raw finished, and I woke up in the middle of the night and opened up my phone and saw that Becky won the title. I was just like, huh, well, not surprised but disappointed at the same time. But I don't know. The women's division right now, because of Rhea and her sudden injury, has really been thrown into a cluster F.
Yeah.
So I think everyone involved, including writers and management and everybody from stemming from Paul, Triple H, Levesque down, is kind of in all right, this is what we can do. We'll figure it out as we go. Because, you're planning, you had Rhea win. She was at like 360, over 360 days. And this freak little thing happened, setting up a storyline. From what I understand, is Rhea, when she got smacked into the wall by Liv, that's when she hurt her shoulder. Um, so it's just a freak thing that they had planned out. So now they're in a series of disarray because they don't know where to go with it, and they're just kind of, all right, we're going to do this with the safety blanket and hope the kid sleeps through the night, and then we're going to figure out something else tomorrow. So it could get better. I hope it gets better, but we shall see. Uh, Becky, again, congratulations, I guess. It's a title you haven't won yet, but uh, should have been someone else.
I like that Nia Jax idea. Get some heat there. That would have pissed some fans off. Oh, anyway, thanks for that, Colin. Walter, what do you think here? And again, I don't have a problem with Liv Morgan being in WWE and getting opportunities, but like, she wasn't the main champion. I don't know what champion she had, but she had one of them. She had a run, and I don't think she was a big draw or needle mover or anything like that. So you bring her back again to to go for the title. I don't know. It's just confusing. I mean, I guess Triple H really likes her.
I guess. I think she was the SmackDown champ, right? I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
where she had the match with Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. But honestly, you got the Queen of the Ring coming up, right? You should have teased and showed us what you got and made this an all one night woman tournament throughout Raw and made somebody earn that title. That title. At least that would have been more intriguing instead of a battle royal. I just got lucky and both feet touched the floor.
We think Charlotte will be back and ready for that Queen of the Ring. Is that something you could see her winning?
If she comes back, I can see it. See them
like
doing.
Cargill.
Yeah,
What a final that would be. How about that for a final?
Hell yeah, that'd be a great final and worth it. But what was it? Charlotte's knee? I think I'm not sure if she'd be ready on time, but she looked pretty good. Like watching her social media and she's working out. She might be ahead of schedule. Like John Cena. We compare her to being John Cena. Maybe she's ahead of schedule and she can do that. But yeah, but they could have did that all in one night and made it intriguing and then tease what you can get at the Queen of the Ring. See, this is why we decided to do King and Queen in the Ring. And you could have did that throughout Raw, and that would have made Raw more interesting instead of the Battle Royal. But I personally, I was hoping for Nia to win out of all the women that they show just as a screw you. But Aaron already told me Monday, he was like, you drinking the Kool-Aid from Nia. But I've always been a Nia person. I've said it 1,000 times that I don't get why people are so negative on her. Like, yeah, accidents happen, but I don't see people jumping down Liv's throat for hurting Rhea. If that was Nia, you wouldn't have heard the end of it.
Walter, very weird. Like, look at Jericho's. Look at the hate. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. It's very weird how wrestling fans decide to just hate somebody extra over. And Nia's been that one.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, she was a little rough around the edges that first run, but she's been pretty solid of a worker in everything she's done since she's been back. And she's not like she's doing her job. She's putting people over.
Yeah, exactly. She's doing what she's doing. I've never been a Nia hater. Like you with Roman originally here. Like I was like that with Nia. I always put Nia over here on the review on anything I'm on. Like I don't get the hate. Like, I mean, if she didn't do what she wouldn't have done, you wouldn't have got the man Becky. Like freak accidents happen, and look what Becky turned it into. But go ahead.
Well, someone in the chat, nobody knows X-Pac heat is a bunch of bullshit. There's no such thing as X-Pac heat or go away heat. Like even Brock Lesnar and Goldberg at WrestleMania 20, there's just no such thing because the wrestling promoters will shove people down your throats, whether you like them or not. You don't dictate what happened just because you got your way with Cody and look at Daniel Bryan in the past. More times than not, you don't get your way because they want you to dream. They want you to chase. They want you to be miserable and have a little silver lining at the end of the tunnel to get what you want here, fans. And that's when I see people say X-Pac heat, come on. Nia doesn't have X-Pac heat doesn't exist.
I will also want to, there's quite a few choices. People were booing Maxine Dupree for the way she wrestled. You could have been petty as an FU to everybody and made her win this and win the title. Like that would have been funny as hell to me. Like, even though she don't deserve it or anything, but what I'm saying is just because all the people booed her and they were talking shit and all that, that would have been a big FU to everybody, and it would have been hilarious.
You got to still be careful. Like, don't fully sabotage everything for the fans, but you got to show them what did people say? I've heard this from Russo or Jeff Lane on Russo's channel. The dog wags the tail. Don't let the tail wag the dog or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. There's a saying like that. And they got to
I get it.
And still who's in control.
Yeah. But, Becky's a safe pick. It's like back in the 90s where they just kept giving the title back to Hogan. Like it happens. It's the safe pick and they're going to go with what works. Like you just said, be careful. Like I guess it's a ratings thing or something. Becky's a safe choice and it was like here. But there is a little bit of a full circle because she had to give up one of her title reigns because she was pregnant to Asuka. And now she gets because of somebody's injured, she gets a title reign. So I guess some kind of full circle thing going on.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with Becky winning. It's just like, then what's next? It's always the what's next for me.
Right. Well, Virtue, I think that the draft will tell us where this is all going.
forgetting about that. So maybe things will look a little brighter after.
The thing is, are they going to take the draft serious this time? Are we going to get a real, actual blend spread? Because it seems like we could, since they changed the name of the titles and stuff. Maybe we can get an actual, real brand. But that's part of it too. You got to make it an actual brand split.
All right, thank you, Walter. Aaron, over to you.
All right. So Michael sent in a $2 super chat. Says Chelsea Green should have won. Yeah, that would have been entertaining. But they're trying to make the title serious as much as possible. Look, I don't think Becky Lynch was the original plan to be champion. I think she was going to take off time after WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley got hurt, so as mentioned earlier, it was the safe route to have her win. And listen, you have to think of the big picture here. I think somebody's going to be elevated by beating Becky Lynch, and that person is somebody that fans really want to cheer for and have get pushed, and somebody who's a fresh face. Who's dating Ludwig Kaiser? Tiffany Stratton. They're on different brands. I think in the draft, we're going to see things change up, and they're going to be on the same brand. And I think Tiffany Stratton has a great opportunity now to dethrone Becky Lynch and become the new star of the women's division. The fans are loving her. She's getting cheered, even though she's been booked as a heel, and they need to build new stars. I double down with Becky being the right choice because I think at the end of the day, because of the circumstances, you have the draft coming up. They needed to crown a new champion. They couldn't just wait until Queen of the Ring. You know, they wanted to have the champion established before the draft. Becky Lynch is their biggest star, so I get it. It was a last-minute decision. I think she was a better choice than Nia because you could do something like Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton and have Tiffany win the title from Becky and build her as the next big thing in WWE. Rhea Ripley's going to be a babyface when she comes back. She was already going in that direction anyways. So you got to have a new top heel to take over for Rhea Ripley, and I think that's going to be Tiffany Stratton if I had to make a prediction. So that's what I think is going to happen, and if not Tiffany, maybe somebody else. You know, I think that in the end, they're going to go with a new star, and they just want to have the title on Becky Lynch for now to make sure the title stays credible since they had to do the vacant title and then have the battle royal. I think they did the best they could under the circumstances, and I think people are being a little overly harsh on Becky, calling her Hogan when it's not her that's playing politics. She was going to take time off. She was going to be gone. So it's not like she's saying, well, you better make me champion or I'm not signing a new contract or something. I mean, who knows what went on behind the scenes, but it sounded to me like she was going to be gone for a while and, you know, something happened with Rhea Ripley and they needed Becky back. Kind of like what happened with Jon Moxley and CM Punk a couple years ago. Moxley was going to go on vacation and they had to bring him back because they needed him. You know, it's not Moxley playing politics. It's just, you know, he's reliable. Same thing with Becky. You know, she's coming back and doing the thing now. And I say I know I don't want to say this too often, like let it play out. You know, let's see what happens with this. You know, it is a new era. Back in the day when people said let it play out, I'd be like, well, it's Vince McMahon. But it's a new era, and Triple H listens. And I think fans will be happy with whatever happens here with this Becky Lynch title run, with who ends up beating her.
Okay. Main event time?
All right, let's do it.
When was the last time I made AEW our main event? There go the viewers. Then the numbers are dropping like flies. This is potluck for all you AEW fans of the NoDQ Galaxy, which there are. They do exist. Aaron knows it. Aaron caters to you sometimes. And so, Walter, I'm going to start with you. So we got the big things that happened at Dynasty. Obviously, Swerve Strickland, the new AEW World Champion, Samoa Joe. So, you know, there's a topic you can discuss your feelings on. Jack Perry returns, right, and costs FTR and looks like he's aligned with the Young Bucks and Okada and the Elite there. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. Osprey and Danielson, of course, with the way wrestling is today and how the marks love the Meltzer system and what wrestlers have to do to have great matches. I mean, we go back to the Omega and Okada series of matches, and now it has to be like this or it's not considered one of the greatest matches of all time, which just blows my mind. And, dude, Osprey's pretty good. I mean, when I look at the flippy guys like Ricochet, Osprey, and you can name some others. Osprey looks like he belongs in the main event, right? What, you know, at least in the company like AEW. So I'm definitely not taking that away from him. And Bryan Danielson, WrestleMania 30, right? We'll leave it at that. He always deserves to be there. But these matches, they just look so. A real fight would not happen like that. You're not going to know your opponent to that degree. And here's my problem with matches like this. And it's not necessarily the times Bryan landed on his head, right? Because I like if it's done on purpose, but safe, they get their arms up, but you could for a split second make people think, wow, I don't know if that was supposed to happen. To make it look like you're hurt, that's psychology. That's great. But there's so much other stuff in these matches. When you beat each other up so much and you kick out, like, I believe in adrenaline, but I don't believe in that much adrenaline. And, of course, Walter, Chris Jericho getting booed and disrespected. And I'll say my piece on that in a little bit. But those are the main and there could have been something else from Dynasty you want to talk about. But to me, those were the bullet points. This is our AEW potluck for all the AEW fans out there. And we're going to talk about it probably for the next 20 or 30 minutes. So you are on the floor first. Please take your time. There's a lot.
Yeah. Well, first, but the whole Jack Perry and the Buck thing, believe it or not, you guys know how I feel about Bucks. But that's actually a smart thing because they're the assholes of the company. How do you expect them to behave? If they're assholes, you bring Jack Perry on them, let them be who they are, and let them bring those assholes on TV. I can't believe I'm saying this, but that's actually one smart thing to do. Like, put Jack Perry and stick it in everybody's face. Like, they're the trio that everybody hates, or the two that everybody hates, and now Jack Perry's in the mix, and it goes with who they are as humans. You might as well let that play on TV as well. So I have no issue with that, even though I don't personally like them, but it's smart to do it. Terms of the Bryan Danielson, I'm kind of 50-50 with it because I'm old school of protect finishers, but how much shit are you gonna kick out of? You don't have to do that many false finishes, but the matches itself is great. Don't get me wrong. I did like the match, but when you know his history of injuries, I just feel bad. Hopefully it's a work, but that looked crucial the way he landed and how the ref's concerned. So I don't know if they're working me and I'm falling for it or what's going on. If it's gonna be a story for his retirement, but it was an awesome match. But yeah, it's just too much. You can be a little safer, but I do get why they did it and everything. It was a hell of a match, and I honestly feel like it stole the night out of all the matches. AEW, like I said if they could just translate what they do on pay-per-view to weekly television, they'll be all right. I don't know. It's almost night and day. How the hell can you book pay-per-views so well? They've been around 4 or 5 years. There's only 2 pay-per-views really that were duds. Everything else were excellently booked, were perfect. What? I don't know what it is that they can't translate what they do on pay-per-view to weekly television.
I'll tell you why. Because they're selling $50 pay-per-views, and you have to make sure you put your best content on the pay-per-views. You don't want to give away all your big matches on free TV. The problem is they need to figure out how to produce more compelling weekly shows so they can draw in people beyond the core audience that's already watching.
Yeah. You want to put the good weekly television to lead into me wanting to buy those pay-per-views. You can't just keep doing the formula you're doing where you put all the bullshit during the week for 3 weeks and then expect, well, look what we're going to do with this pay-per-view. And then all the hardcore people like us, like Aaron, know the people that do this for a living are going to have to buy it regardless. But, that gets pretty pricey, $50 a month. And then you expect me to do it, but then the lead-in sucks. Give me something leading into the pay-per-views, but I don't want to. AEW did a great job. I don't want to keep bashing. I always go right to the negative, but it's I just wish they translated that. But I do want to. They did it right with Swerve. I got to talk about that. That Swerve for him to finally get that moment. You talked about Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30. Did you see the crowd's reaction when Swerve finally did it? And they didn't.
To me, Walter.
Yeah.
The Osprey Danielson match, it was what it was for the people that like that stuff. But it's the finish. It's, to me, if you have a very solid match and the finish is right, like Swerve winning, it becomes a better match. Even if it's not technically a better match, that's what I remember more than how Osprey and Danielson played out. And again, I'm not saying that was a horrible match. When I was in the chat the other night of Aaron's recap, and I was like, yeah, it was a B++ match, kind of playing off of Daniel Bryan being a B+ player, and I added an extra plus. That it means it was a good match. I didn't come out and troll and say, it was a D. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a good match, but
that felt like that's one. As I watch Dynamite each week, and even when I am bored with it, Swerve is a guy that's been gaining my attention. Like when he's on, I kind of turn my head and I kind of watch. And I want AEW to give me more wrestlers like that.
Exactly. And then it's also like, look at Swerve and Samoa. Swerve didn't kick out of 5 muscle busters. He kicked out of the 1. See, that's okay. But when the Osprey and the Bryan, they were kicking out of their moves like 10, 12 times. That was I'm never saying, again, the match was not bad. It's good. I'm just saying, like, sometimes protect your finisher. Like, think about it. The Razor's Edge, right? Razor Ramon was never a world champion and everything. But think about how many times have you seen somebody kick out of that match? Like, never. And that move is, like, really protected. Like, and if it's kicked out of, there's space between it, like a 5-minute, like, but he can't cover, and then that would make sense to kick out. But to I hit the move and immediately cover you, and you keep kicking out, it just weakens the move. Like, I understand if you're gonna change your move, and it's like, all right, this isn't working, so now I'm gonna use a different finisher. Then somebody can keep kicking out, and then you build a new move. But like, they're constantly kicking out of it, and it's even the back and forth, like, I chop you, you chop me, I fall, get right back up, chop. Like, that shit's got to stop in the AEW. Like, I keep going back to it. I know, Aaron, you're tired of me, but that Canadian Destroyer and then into another one, that shit is stupid. Like, stop that shit. You want to, yes, it's scripted. Yes, the moves can be real, but, like, can you sell it? Like, hurt? Like, look at Dolph Ziggler, Shawn Michaels, the best sellers. Like, they wouldn't get right back up after a move. Like, sell it to me a little. But these people are just, and like you said, like, yeah, adrenaline can get you up. Like, yeah, you heard of pregnant women moving cars and stuff, but it's not going to be like that much adrenaline. Like, every move, Virtue beat my ass, and I'm just going to get back up and back up. That's not going to work in real life.
Wrestling's always been that. You know, now they got to top that. Both of those guys, whether it's against each other or their next opponents, they got to top that, or the fans are going to be unsatisfied. Like, it's just, I don't know. You would always work an audience and give them just enough, but not quite everything. So you kept them wanting more. And that bar, it's just that the style and the whole Dave Meltzer doing 5-star beyond that and creating that culture of that group of wrestling fans that want that. That's why there's people out there like Al Snow saying, somebody's going to kill themselves in the ring, because how do you outdo it?
Right,
you know?
but at least they're doing it on a pay-per-view. And Walter, going back to what you said earlier,
that's definitely fine, right? Their loyal fans that are actually spending that money, they're doing that in front of, so that's fine. But I mean,
as Roddy Piper said, if you're going to die in the ring. It's good for business. So if it's good for business, then at least they're doing it on the pay-per-view. But Walter, as you said, like, they shouldn't be doing this stuff on free TV anyways. Like, you don't want these guys having these types of matches on free TV. That would be stupid, to go out there and risk your well-being when you're not getting paid the big bucks. These guys are Osprey's getting paid a lot of money to go out there and have these kind of matches.
But the problem is they do some of that shit on free TV, like the Canadian Destroyer spot and some of that dumb flippy. What's the luchador that got, like, when he flipped, he was like 2 inches away from his neck, like he really could have got hurt. That was on Dynamite. Like, pull it back if you're gonna do that, and then do it on the pay-per-views and pull it back on Dynamite. But
Walter,
the Viking kid.
Walter, I'll come back to you in case you want to talk about Jericho. But Colin, I want to make sure he gets some thoughts in here on random Dynasty. Colin, go ahead. You're on the floor. Anything particular you wanted to start with? I mean, like I said, Swerve won the title. We're talking about Osprey Danielson. Jericho getting that just pure hate, which, again, there's many levels on that right now. Go ahead. You're on the floor.
So congratulations to Swerve. always kind of been a fan of his. Loved him in NXT. And so major props to him. I thought the match was really good. You know, Samoa Joe seems, I don't know, when he left the ring, he was grabbing his shoulder real bad. So, like, maybe he's getting wrote off to go do another series of Twisted Metal or something. So, congratulations to him. Jericho winning that belt was kind of weird to me. Um, I know people got a lot of heat on him, but I don't really give a shit. Uh, he's he's Chris Jericho. He's still doing great things in the ring. I know he's older. His body's not the same, but I'm enjoying this version that we're getting of him now, like he's been doing with Hook and pushing Taz and all that stuff. So it's kind of fun. Uh, Will Osprey and Daniel Bryan, good match, yes. Over choreographed or choreographed, whatever the word you are looking for. Sorry, I'm sick as shit. I feel like hell.
At least you're here. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's just been getting worse throughout the day, but it was a good match. If I had to like give it a score, if I had to pretend to be Dirty Dave Meltzer, uh, I would say like a four and a quarter. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'm not a fan of kick out after kick out after kick out after kick out after fancy move after kick out after belly flop after, it's just, it gets old. Uh, it's not really my thing anymore. When we were younger, that stuff was fun, but now, like, I don't know. It was a good match. I'm not taking anything away from anybody, but who knows what will happen with Daniel Bryan now? I still call him Daniel Bryan. I really don't care. If you guys get shitty in the comments or in the chat room, he called out the wrong name. I really don't care.
That's what made him a millionaire. That's what he deserves.
I mixed his name one time. What did I say, Aaron? Like you wouldn't let it go for a while. Daniel Bryanson or something. Yeah.
That was good. That's a good one. That's a good one. Let's see.
Jack Perry.
Well, Jack Perry. So cool. They brought him back. It's a ladder match, so it's not supposed to end fair or clean or whatever. But I thought FTR got a little effed on that, but we all saw that coming because they're friends with CM Punk, and we have the Elite, and they are the EVPs. I get why they won the belts. Jack Perry coming back. The best part about Jack Perry coming back was this thing mask. Like, it's a very real old school shout out to WCW. If you guys remember that episode when the fan ran in wearing the Sting mask, uh, so that was fun. Um, Hopefully we get a decent story coming out of this because again, last time we saw Jack Perry was ripping up a AEW contract over in Japan and doing all these New Japan dates. So um, this is interesting. This was like one of the most interesting things of the night besides Swerve winning the belt. And if I want to holler back at the last topic real quick because I wanted to say something on it about Aaron bringing up Tiffany Stratton. If Tiffany beats Becky, that's a full circle because Becky beat Tiffany for that NXT title reign. So, but back to the AEW. There's can I bring something else up that's not on Dynasty? Can I bring up John Moxley winning the New Japan World Title and now defending it on Dynamite against Will Hobbs? Uh, that doesn't do it for me, like whatsoever. Like I think that is a really bad move for them to do, especially it being an AEW full-time rostered person. I think that's a real bad. It's just, I mean, it's Tony Khan, so it's bad booking regardless. You know what I mean? He's got a few things right. He's got a few things right. Like his pay-per-view, pretty solid. Like I really liked that House of Black picked up the title, or not the titles, but the victory, which Malachi Black hopefully is now in line against Adam Copeland for a title shot that he will actually win because that dude deserves it. You had Willow Nightingale win the title, and now we're going to respark a feud that happened from New Japan between Mercedes Moné and Willow Nightingale for that TBS title at Double or Nothing. Um, they did a couple really cool things. I mean, Bullet Club Gold or the Bang Bang Gang, whatever you want to call them, they won the unified trios titles. So I mean, it was a really good pay-per-view. I just really wish, like Walter and Aaron, and you have also said, that they would book this type stuff on consistent basis on TV because maybe they can get over 820,000. Okada, again, Mr. Tito brought up Okada. His match was pretty decent. I loved the Kyle O'Reilly match. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. I could watch those guys wrestle all day. So there's a lot of different key things put into place, especially Adam Cole. Now he's walking. So who knows where this devil storyline is going to go with. So they had a lot of good moments with this pay-per-view. I just really hope that when Wednesday's episode of Dynamite hit, they just don't straight shit the bed because that seems to what has happened. Like you had a really good pay-per-view. So your next show, you should have great views. And I'm hoping because again, I know we bust the balls of AEW's ratings, but at the end of the day, we bust their balls because we want to see them succeed because we love this business. This is why we're sitting here on a Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time discussing these things. So again, overall, real good pay-per-view. Couple new champions, and you have a bunch of different ways this can go. So I don't want to give credit to Tony Khan, but whoever else he's working with on this, I thought you guys did pretty decent. So
Fair enough. Thank you for that, Colin. Okay, Aaron, I'll go to you now. I know this is rehash for you, but catch up on Super Chats, spill your piece here, and then I want to talk about something in particular. So go ahead, Aaron.
All right, so Virtuous Final Boss sent in a $1 super chat and added a comment here. Couldn't attach it, but when it's all said and done, Reigns is a 3-time Hall of Famer himself, Shield, and Bloodline.
Ooh, one's fine. It's always weird. Like Ozzy Osbourne's going to be a 2-time Rock and Roll Hall of Famer now, Black Sabbath, and then as himself. It's just weird. Like when you're in it, right? Right.
I agree. But they want to get them back for the headlines, so they get people in the seats, they sell tickets for the Hall of Fame. That's a whole thing that's debatable at this point because some people think the fans are disrespectful and it should be like a smaller, more intimate setting. I mean, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Oh, lost Colin there. Well, anyways, I'll answer this question here from Psycho Jet Black, who sent in $2. He says, does Jack Perry and the Young Bucks have go away heat? I think for some fans, they do have go away heat. But I think that I'm enjoying what the Young Bucks have done since the heel turn. I like them doing the characters that are based off the TV show Succession. I'm enjoying it. And Jack Perry, I'm all for him being part of the group now. The thing is, though, people are probably going to chant CM Punk when he's out there. So Jack Perry's got to turn this around and make it about him and not CM Punk. And that's going to be the key here. I think it'll be successful if they can get fans forgetting about CM Punk. But if it's just CM Punk chants night in and night out, then it's not going to work out too well for Jack Perry. But I definitely like the idea of them all being together. Walter?
But they're the ones who keep bringing up Punk. You said if they could get people to forget him, but they're the ones that keep referencing all the bullshit that happened. Stop bringing it up.
Go away heat. They don't understand. It's not a thing because somebody always wants that. Like there's still people that like the Young Bucks and Jack Perry. Go away heat, if it did exist, it's Chris Benoit. Okay? That's go away heat, people. If it existed. Stop using that. God.
I think people just use the term go away heat to describe somebody who is counterproductive to the product and getting people to turn off the TVs. That's what they consider to be go away heat.
About go away heat, watch. They never turn it off.
They're hate watching. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. All right, so what are the best AEW pay-per-view matches in your opinion? I definitely think Danielson and Osprey is up there at the top. I really liked the tag match, Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and Adam Page from Revolution in 2020. And, a couple of the latter matches have been really great. Walter, in your opinion, what is the best AEW pay-per-view match that you've seen? Since you had some criticism of Danielson and Osprey. So in your opinion, of everything you've seen, what's the best AEW pay-per-view match?
Don't get me wrong on that. The match was fine. It's just like at some point, stop kicking out of so many damn moves. So I can't even think right now of AEW pay-per-views like that. I'm not the big. Go ahead.
And it's none of these AEW marks lists. Maybe some of towards the bottom, but by far of the AEW matches I've seen, going back to Chris Jericho being the first champion, it's CM Punk and Samoa Joe kicking off All In, knowing Punk going out there after all that went down, but yet in front of those fans. This is one reason why I really like Austin Michaels, even though that wasn't a great match and it was 15 minutes long. What Michaels and Austin both had to do, broken neck. Austin still wasn't right from his broken neck from Owen. Michaels' back was blown up. They went out there with Tyson. They did what they needed to do. To me, that's an all-time great main event of WrestleMania, even though it's technically not a great match. Those are great matches to me. So Joe and Punk, and even Joe for having to break that up and then going out there and still working that match professionally with Punk. That's what I think great is.
Well, that was definitely a solid match, and hats off to Punk for going out there and getting it done. But Mr. Tito and Matthew brought up a couple good ones too. Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes from the Double or Nothing that kicked off AEW. That was a great match. And a lot of MJF matches. MJF and Bryan Danielson, the Iron Man match. I believe it was Revolution 2023. That's one of my favorite AEW matches. And MJF and CM Punk and the dog collar match was one of my favorites. MJF had a lot of them. MJF was always entertaining.
And it's not a match, but the pay-per-view itself, when MJF came back as the Joker, or the what's that pay-per-view called with the coin? I can't even think of it, but when he came back as he was the Joker's Wild or whatever he was, when he came back under the mask after he was gone for so long.
All Out?
Yeah. Was it All Out?
I think it was All Out when he came back, when he came out to the Sympathy for the Devil.
To the Devil, yeah. So that like, not specific match, but that as a pay-per-view as a whole.
And I liked the Stadium Stampede matches. I liked the cinematic one and the one they did, the Anarchy in the Arena, a couple of years later. There's been a lot of great AEW matches, and some of them do blend in because a lot of them are just move, and the human brain can only remember so many things. So it all just blends together after a while. So I definitely understand that criticism, and I definitely think it's a fair criticism.
Think about it like this. Can you imagine someone kicking out of like 7 Undertaker's tombstones? You would never picture that. Like Brock didn't even do that. He kicked out of what? 2 the most of when he broke the streak?
You know what I remember? I remember Randy Savage hitting like 5 big elbow drops to Ultimate Warrior in that retirement match. You know why I remember that? Because it had never been done from what I remember before that. And it wasn't done for several years after that. It was something special for the time at WrestleMania. And, it really changed like around WrestleMania 17 when Steve Austin and The Rock were hitting each other with their own finishers and kicking out of everything. And ever since then, I feel like everybody has to try to do that for every match, not even at a major show like WrestleMania. It started happening on like every pay-per-view. And then it started happening on TV where everybody's kicking out of every big move. And it's like you're conditioned to not believe the match is ending until somebody's kicked out of like 7 finishing moves.
Exactly. And when you protect the finisher long enough, that person that does kick out of it like that one time, that you'll remember that. Like,
right.
like Drew kicking out of End of Days, even though like that move was very protective, and I don't think anybody's kicked out of that move since.
Yeah, and let me add to that. You know, the live fans buy into some of these false finishes. I don't buy into a lot of them because I know how these matches are being laid out and what they're going for. And I think when Tony Khan or Triple H or whoever hears the live crowd reacting to these false finishers, they're like, okay, this is working. But as a TV viewer, if you've seen it time and time again, you know, it doesn't hit the same. When you're there in person, you kind of get into the heat of the moment, and you may buy into a false finish that you might not buy on TV. So they really got to take that into consideration, and sometimes less is more.
Everything hits different when you're live. Like, look at me. I was there for Mercedes. Now look how I feel. Like, what the hell is going on now? Like, it's just in person. You can't compare it to TV to in person. Everything feels different.
Yeah. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Psycho's here with some comedy for us. Says pregnant women are more badass than Ryback. Although I don't really think that's a joke. I think we can all take that at face value there. I mean,
it's because I brought up the adrenaline thing.
Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. We brought this up earlier with the TV shows needing to be more compelling. AEW has great matches, but lacks stories to get there. I'm with you on that. And, you know, people that are devoted AEW fans, they're like, we don't need a story. You know, it's just what's done in the ring. And, you know, to each their own, I guess. But I think the matches are the best when you have a reason to care about what's happening, and they've taken you on a roller coaster ride. You know, it's you got that TV time, use it. Now in this case with Danielson and Osprey, you know, this was a dream match. You know, that's what they were selling it on. So fine, but you know, we got overall a lot of work to do as far as making the shows more compelling. If you want to build the audience, like if you don't care about building the audience, then keep doing what you're doing. But I mean, Chris Jericho did this speech. There's a video of it online where he talked about Swerve's title win, and he said that Swerve is a guy who could potentially bring in some new viewers. And you know, Chris Jericho has that mindset, and I think that's what everybody in AEW needs to have. They need to try to bring in some new people, and you know, you can't just rely on moves. You got to do more than that to build your brand and build your audience. You know, I guess I'll mention this too. My wife Caitlin was watching the AEW show a little bit, and I mean, it was late, so full disclosure, it was 11 o'clock. She fell asleep during the Danielson match. I had to get her to come down. I'm like, you got to see this match. This is the match everybody's going to say is match of the year. You got to come watch it. She watched it a little bit, but she fell asleep about halfway through it. And
he invested in Cody and Roman at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, and not only that, but on Raw, she was invested in the Awesome Truth match. Like, she really likes R-Truth a lot. She's happy he got the win at WrestleMania. But she was like looking up, she was focused on the Raw tag match more than she was Danielson and Osprey. And keep in mind, she's a Bella Twins fan, or was at one point. I'm not sure how much she follows them now, but she watched all the Total Bellas and Total Divas stuff. So, she likes Bryan Danielson. And it was late, to be fair, but she did fall asleep during that match.
That's
Speaking
what's
of
up.
the Bellas, what the hell was that shot Tony Storm took at Nikki Garcia? Like, what the hell was the point of that?
Yeah, so I mean, there is an emotional investment that you need for some of these matches, especially if you're somebody who doesn't watch wrestling strictly for the moves. Like, you got to have more than that. So it's acquired tastes. Some people like caviar, some people like McDonald's French fries. It just comes down to what you like. But I think for a lot of wrestling fans, and just a lot of viewers in general that don't watch wrestling 24/7, they want more than just the moves. So we've talked about that. It was a great athletic performance. I think it was one of the best technically worked matches of all time. Obviously, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes had a much deeper story, and it took you on a lot of different emotional ups and downs throughout not just that match, but everything that was leading up to it. So that's my take on that. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. Says, is Collins' spinner belt supposed to be an E? I guess that's for Colin.
No, it's just super old and doesn't want to sit right anymore. So she falls the way she falls, boys.
And it tends to happen as you get older. Anyways, Arthur Jones sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Arthur. Says, hi, guys, and the jackass Mark Virtue.
Thanks for the money. You donate, mentioning my name. That's why I'm here.
We get that. That'll be the next T-shirt. Thanks for the super chat, you Mark. There you go.
Long time ago, yeah.
All right, so I've said my piece on AEW. Right. I think Swerve being champ is the right call, and we'll see if he can help build AEW's brand up. You know, I think he's the right guy for now. I know Osprey's probably going to be the guy that beats him. My guess is All In Wembley, but for now, I hope Swerve can build the audience for AEW and will be their greatest champion yet.
Now, the last thing I got to say about Chris Jericho, obviously now prior to AEW, he was always up there. He's like probably my favorite, top 3, all the up there from his WCW, WWE stuff. And he went to Japan after WWE, did some cool things, still had it left in the tank. But I don't understand. Like, is it his political views? Is it an allegation that he's a backstage? He's slower than he used to be. I don't think he steals anything from anybody, or he would have been the world champion way longer than a few months. But I wasn't a big fan of everything he's done in AEW past him losing to Jon Moxley, correct? Is that who he lost the title to?
Yeah.
But I would say that, but because he's one of my all-time, I would never say, go away. I don't want to see you. You got to go back to WWE because that's where I don't understand this hate. Like this, it's not like he's a heel and they're giving him heel heat. It's just they want to it's cool to hate Jericho because what people say on the internet. And that's absolute bullshit because you're going to miss him when he's gone.
It's kind of like Cody, they turned against Cody and Cody left. So
when he's gone, and I hope he leaves AEW and that shitty stigma over there because of that company and those fans takes his time off and comes back for that last run in WWE, Hall of Fame, whatever. That's where he belongs. He's a sports entertainer. And unfortunately, he's been trying to do that a lot the last 4 years. And that AEW fan base hates that. They don't like that. And Jericho has become their guy to hate because of that, taking spots away and this and that. And it's weird. Like, it's so weird that AEW fans are hating on Jericho. They're what they would call their go-away heat. And Cornette hates Jericho, but that could just be a work because of political differences. And to see AEW fans and Cornette on the same side bashing Jericho, it just blows my mind, man. I can't believe that. But just show him some respect. If you don't just don't talk about him. I always say that. Go to the bathroom. Do a bathroom break. But don't disrespect wrestlers. And if it was true heel heat that you were giving him, great. But you want to think that you're going to force him to leave or Tony Khan to take him off TV, that makes a horrible fan when you try to do it that way. And
or be quiet if you want to show that you don't care about him. Don't make noise.
And that's the thing. I haven't talked much about Jericho the last few years because I'm not a fan of how AEW's booked him and things he does after that initial year. But that's just what I'm waiting. I'm not sitting there hating on him and all of a sudden taking him off my top list. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting it out so he can strike when he needs to. And that's the problem here, Aaron, with Jericho. He's always been known, especially since 07, 05 when he first left WWE. He'd come back, then he'd leave. Come back and leave. And he'd always reinvent himself. And AEW, he's just been there. He's been there and he's tried to change it up a little bit, but there wasn't that element of, hey, I'm back. That surprise that he's known for. And I think that's ultimately, and I hope he knows this, that's hurt him a little bit. And if he does ever leave AEW, I hope he does take a good amount of time off to get that element of surprise that Jericho, what we all loved from him. Hey, he's back and he's looking fresh, and that's what's hurt him. He's been too much there all the time, and he's never really been hurt, and fans have gotten sick, and that's unfortunate, but gives Jericho some respect. That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
Walter, I know you really didn't talk about Jericho. Do you want to add anything about that, or if you're good, or just agree with me?
Yeah, I don't get it either. I love Jericho. I wouldn't mind him like leaving for a little while to make me miss him and come back, but I would never disrespect him. He's a legend of the game. He's up there. I just think he didn't catch fire as much as like all the other attitude people that it's just some stigma attached to him. I don't know what it is. Maybe because he's an original WCW guy. I don't know.
Dude, he never had that until this AEW. Like when he left WWE and went to Japan, it was cool. The Painmaker or whatever he called himself. And then that first title run, people really didn't crap on that. And then it was everything after that, like everything around Orange Cassidy feud and after an MJF feud, like they just turned on Jericho as a performer. And it's very weird to me. And although I wasn't like loving the stuff he did in AEW, partly because I felt he's out of place in AEW, and I want him back in WWE because that's where his entertainment value is better to me. I wasn't gonna like piss and moan and say go away.
Yeah,
I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah, Dustin's up there in age. You don't see people jumping down Dustin's throat the way they do Jericho. I don't know what it is.
Jericho. It could be that anytime a wrestler has allegations against them, you got that group of people, they're guilty from the get-go, and it could be all of that as well. And now he's holding younger talent down. It's just, I don't know, fans are just weird. That's all I got. Anybody else before we go around and do our plugs? Aaron, all set?
All right, we got a couple more super chats. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Thank you, Psycho. Says Virtue cuts better promos than Ronda Rousey. I mean, that's not really saying much, to be fair.
Thanks. That's a good compliment right there.
Well, thank you, Psycho Jet Black. And the This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, This Guy Experience. He says, fair or unfair? Here we go with this. Becky winning the belt again. Hey, guys. Yeah, it was fair.
Yeah.
Is he trying to say something?
Who?
Looks like his mouth is moving.
Who, me?
Walter.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Aaron. I lost service for a second. What was it?
I was like, what? I'm here.
Oh, fair or unfair? Becky winning the belt again.
Rating fair, I guess. Yeah, she's there. Use her. You're paying her big bucks. Use her. I just think it's time. You could have used it to elevate someone. That's all. But I get why. It's not like I don't understand why they went with
right. All right. Anyways, we're wrapped up here. So great discussion tonight, guys, and look forward to the next one.
All right, let's go around, get this thing over with. Colin, welcome back. Go ahead. Anything to say in closing?
Thanks for having me back, as always. Hopefully next time I'm a little more involved. Again, I just kind of got sick over the last couple of days. So, yeah, you can find me there. Actually, my ex name is the Cleaver NoDQ as well, so you can find me both there on YouTube and on X. Aaron and Dorchi, I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Walter, it's always real. Merry Christmas again. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next time. Remember, support NoDQ, NoDQ.com/merch. Get some hats, shirts that Aaron's got, shirts that Virtue's got, and many, many more. So,
thanks for being on.
Peace.
Walter?
As always, thanks for always having me up here. On terms of social, on X, you can follow me at Walter Alex Cruz. On Instagram, if you're into that, 420 just passed. So, the Cowfire Farms and the at Rage of Wrestling YouTube channel. More to come. Thanks as always for having me up here. And I just want to tell people, enjoy what you do, man. Whether you're wrestling plus past 50, if you can do it, if your body can go, do it. Like, I don't get why people gotta hate so damn much. Like, I guess you just kind of wish you can do it. That's what it is. You wish you could live the lifestyles that they all live. But, there's no need to hate on somebody that much. But thanks as always for having me up here, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you as always. Okay, Aaron.
All right, Psycho Jet Black sent in one more $2 super chat. Says, fair or unfair? Virtue is more over than retribution. Again, not saying much. You got it.
Obviously.
Yes, very fair. All right, guys, thank you all for supporting NoDQ throughout WrestleMania season. And now we move into the filler summer until we get to the big SummerSlam and Bash at Berlin shows coming up. So stay tuned to NoDQ.com. We'll continue to keep you covered on the latest wrestling news and rumors. And that's all I got. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you on Sunday.
All right, and thank you, Aaron. And, of course, if you dare, go to x.com, follow me over there at NoDQ_virtue, and be sure to go to NoDQ.com/merch, Colin mentioned earlier, and get all the great merchandise and the new Your Mark shirt with the NoDQ logo on the back, and it also says Virtue in my classic, not my, but the classic Harry Potter font, my favorite. That's all I got for this week's edition of the NoDQ review. We will be back next Sunday, Aaron. Correct?
Yeah, this Sunday night.
Be off for a little bit, but by then I'll give you an idea when I'll be back. So we'll see you next Sunday, NoDQ review. And Galaxy for Colin, for Walter, for Aaron, and the whole NoDQ crew in Galaxy, except you, TJS. Good night, everybody.
Oh, shit.
Oh, he said it.